It's Mr. Ambrose coming, do you know? Anybody?
No, he's not going to be here.
Oh, he's not? Oh.
No, that's what Bruce said.
Then we can get started then. Good evening, everyone. We thank you for coming out with us tonight, and we're going to have another good meeting. So we're going to stand, and we're going to have our invocation by Pastor Spivey from the High Springs Church of Christ, and we'll follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pray with me, please.
Yes.
Holy Father, we confess to you that, Lord, we live in a broken world. We live in a world where right is wrong and wrong is right, where good is bad, bad is good. God, where selfishness, self-centeredness outweighs serving others. God, we live in a world where you are scorned, you are mocked, you are laughed at. Father, have mercy on us. Forgive us, because you're so awesome and mighty and powerful. God, tonight I ask a special prayer that you will bless our police, our officers, our force, our protectors, God, our firefighters, those who watch out for us and look over. God, I pray that you'll be with our leaders, Mr. Ambrose and Mr. Jameson, Mr. Williams and Ms. James and Ms. Jones, Mr. Thatos and Mr. Walker. God, I pray that you'll impart to them wisdom and reasoning, logic, understanding. God, give them a love for life and a good love for what is good and right. God, I just ask that you put your hand of protection on them as they lead us. God, I ask that you protect us, watch over us, and guide us. Be with us always. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor Pilot, we thank you so much for that invocation. And with that, I'll ask for roll call, please.
Yes, ma'am. Mayor James?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Ambrose is absent. Commissioner Jameson?
Here.
Commissioner Williams?
Here.
Okay, thank you. Before we approve the agenda, we have an item that we need to add entitled Discuss, Consider, and Act on the Baseline Document Report and Santa Fe Canoe Outpost Conservation Easement. So we can make that the first item on the unfinished business. So with that,
It's going to be on unfinished business, not within the regular.
she said put it in any place, so I don't really
Yeah,
know.
it can be there. It can be in new business. It can be, or unfinished. Either is fine, because we talked about it last weekend as well, the Santa Fe Canoe Outpost. It would make sense either
We
place.
did, I mean, the only reason I'm asking is because we're doing the contract for number 6. Could we do this just number 7?
Yeah, they're unrelated to each other.
Agreed, but they both have to do with the outpost is all
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah, that's fine. Why don't we just put it as last?
All right, let's move it from number 1 to number 7.
I make a motion, we approve the revised agenda as stated. Second.
Okay, it has been properly moved and second that the agenda be modified to include item number 7. All those in favor respond with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries 4-0. All right, at this time, we'll have a motion for the minutes approval, please.
I move that we approve the minutes for October 14th, 2021.
All right, all those in favor
Second.
respond.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor respond with aye, please.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries 4-0. All right, moving down to presentation and discussion items. Number 1, proclamation.
Madam Mayor, I'll go ahead and read the proclamation if you'd like me to.
Yes, I would.
Yes, ma'am. This is a proclamation of the City of High Springs, State of Florida, whereas the citizens of High Springs are firmly committed to the quality after-school programs and opportunities because they provide safer, challenging, and engaging learning experiences that help children develop social, emotional, physical, and academic skills, support working families by ensuring their children are safe and productive after the regular school day ends, building stronger communities by involving students, parents, business leaders, and adult volunteers in the lives of young people, thereby promoting positive relationships among youth, families, and adults, engage families, schools, and community partners in advancing the welfare of our children. Whereas the Florida After School Networks and the High Springs Community School have provided significant leadership throughout the pandemic to keep kids engaged in learning and meet the needs of family in our community, especially to those who need extra support to catch up and accelerate their learning. Whereas Lights On After School, the national celebration of the after-school programs held this year on October 28th, 2021, promotes the importance of quality after-school programs in the lives of children, families, and communities. Whereas approximately 1.5 million children and youth in Florida are waiting right now for a spot in an after-school program, many of whom have no place to go after school. Whereas many after-school programs across the state are facing funding and staffing shortfalls so severe that they are being forced to close their doors and turn off their lights. Whereas the City of High Springs is committed to investing in the health and safety of all young people by providing expanded learning opportunities that will help close the achievement gap and prepare young people to compete in the global economy. Now, therefore, the City Commission of the City of High Springs proclaims October 28th, 2021 as Lights On After School Day in the City of High Springs and commits our citizens and our city to invest and engage in proven after-school programs and activities that ensure the lights stay on and the doors stay open for all children after school. In witness whereof, our mayor has set her hand and caused to be affixed the official seal of the City of High Springs, Florida, this 28th day of October 2021. Gloria James, our mayor, and attested by Jenny L. Parham, our city clerk. Appropriate motion is to pass the proclamation as read by its entirety.
Okay. All right.
I move that we pass the proclamation as read.
Second.
All right, it has been properly moved and second that the proclamation be approved. All those in favor respond with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Proclamation carries 4-0. All right, we'll move down to item number 2, unfinished business.
Madam Mayor, this is an interlocal agreement between the City of Gainesville and the City of High Springs for traffic signal maintenance. The term is a 1-year term. This is a standard agreement that you see year after year, and it provides the responsibilities on each side's part. Namely, they will provide the maintenance for us for a sum of $10,000, let's see where it is, $10,995 for fiscal year. The appropriate motion is to allow the appropriate officials to enter into the interlocal agreement between the City of High Springs and City of Gainesville.
So this is the second time you're seeing this agreement. This came forward to the commission, before the commission on September 20th.
Yeah.
There was a typo in the contract. We were under the impression it was for September or October of 22. It was for October of 20 or October of 21. We currently don't have a contract with GRU. We haven't had, staff hasn't had time with all the other projects going on to explore other options as directed by the commission, but we also thought we had time because we thought we had a current contract with GRU to get us through the year. So Gainesville contacted us last week asking us where our contract was. We were kind of shocked. So we're bringing it back to you just for approval for a one-year contract, and we'll explore the options that the commission wishes. So we have some time to work through that.
All right. Commissioners?
Just a quick question. If you look at the deal, just to clarify on the thing, the table that's down here, that's like offered services, correct?
Correct.
So those are available.
On page 10, that's like à la carte, if we need that type of service outside of the contract.
It was to take 2 of the traffic signals and 1 of the pedestrian, and that's where the dollar came in.
Yes, and that would be part of our standard contract, correct.
So what was offered, that's the 3 that we needed?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I want to make sure we didn't forget that, because I forgot to put it on there.
If nobody else says anything, I'll make a motion that we pass the agreement.
Okay.
Second.
All right. Do anybody have any comments out there? Nobody?
Madam Mayor, we'll remind folks on Zoom if they'd like to speak to please to utilize the raise your hand function in Zoom. We can bring you in. Seeing no hands this
Madam
time.
Mayor,
All right.
just real quick.
Mayor,
I just want to clarify on the deal so you understand, we're getting 2 traffic lights. One's at 441 and County Road 236, that traffic light, and the other one's at 27 and 20, where the intersection. So those are the 2 lights that we're getting the maintenance for, just so you understand which lights.
And then the pedestrian
And the
area,
beagle light at the
Right.
school.
school zone off at
We
2:30.
have- Right.
Vice Mayor, you had something?
I thought I saw a hand out here, but I guess, did you? Okay.
Wrong
Oh.
section. Okay, then, in that case, it has been properly moved and second that the item be approved. All those in favor respond with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, the agreement is approved, and it carries 4-0. Okay. Next, we will open up for citizens' requests and comments for issues that are not on the agenda for tonight. And please state your name for the record and limit your comments to 5 minutes, please. If anyone would like to speak, come on up, sir.
Evans. Currently live at 17184 Northwest 240th Terrace here in High Springs. Some of y'all may know me. I used to work here as a lieutenant for the fire department. I'm bringing this to the attention because September 28th, Chief Shepard had 2 of his personnel assist me into, instead of taking me to jail, Baker acting me and getting me help. I'm bringing it to the attention because right now the state of Florida does not have enough mental health for public safety at all. I'm still seeking help. I've gotten my help. I'm getting my stuff together. But Tony Pekla and Coney Clark went above and beyond the call of duty to help me to get me where I am. And I greatly appreciate their service, and I greatly appreciate my brother, Mr. Gillingham here. He's helped me out a lot too. So I just want to bring that forward. I would like to see accommodations for Tony Pekla and Cody Clark at some point in time for above and beyond the call of duty. Thank you.
All right,
Good
thank
night.
you.
Aye.
Anyone else?
Madam Mayor, we did have someone on Zoom that wished to speak. We can let everyone in the house go first.
David Lynch, L-I-N-C-H. I'd just like to remind the commissioners that over here in the northwest section, some men dug up the pavement to put in new water lines. They did not put the pavement back. They left the bare ground there. It's unsightly. It doesn't reflect well upon the community. Washes when there's a hard rain. I'd like to give each person this paper. Could someone pass these papers out? pass these out as far as they will go. So this is the pharmacy newsletter of May 20th, which appears in Alachua County Today. And I underline some of it in red. Let us read together this part that is underlined in red. Substance abuse of any kind is not good, but alcohol abuse has been especially devastating to society, families, and individuals. So the commissioners are allowing High Springs Brewing to use the High Springs name. So by doing that, they are contributing to something that, according to this, is devastating to society.
Anyone else? Okay, is he still
Someone
there?
on Zoom,
looking.
Ms. Andrews would like to speak. Ms. Andrews, you're on with the commission.
I don't know if I'm on the agenda or not. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
I have come before you. A problem. This road. I was told that the engineers was gonna come out and do something about it. They was to come before you, but they said there's no need because they're not gonna do anything. But I'm coming back before you because I am determined to not give up. Not done anything about it. So tell me a lie now. What are you planning on doing? Waiting. Don't all speak at the same time.
Ms. Andrews, we've had this conversation on multiple occasions. You are aware that we're waiting on the engineer report to come back. They've been out there and surveyed on your site. We have been waiting on it. As I spoke with Mayor James this afternoon on your issue, we met with the engineers yesterday, and we are waiting on the final report that we should have in by the end of next week, if not the beginning of the following week. We expedited your issue. We have two other issues that are coming up at the same time with that one, and we should have this resolved within the next 30 days, at least as far as a game plan on which way to go. We have received part.
It's on record now, right?
It's been on record the whole time we've been talking about this, Ms. Andrews.
Within 30 days, you should have something, right?
That's the game plan. That's what they told us yesterday when we talked to them.
Okay? If I'm above ground or whether I'm below ground, you've got it on record. Thank you.
Item number 3.
And Madam Mayor, this is a quasi-judicial proceeding. It's the request for a special use conditional permit to allow a microbrewery in an industrial zoning district located here in High Springs. I'll go through the procedure that we'll have, but first, The first item on the agenda is to determine whether there is any, whether there are any ex parte communications. So if we could start with Commissioner Jameson, and just work through the,
No.
No, sir.
no ex parte communications, Madam Mayor. And the next item is to request any of the presenters or anyone who may come to the mic to stand up, and I will swear them in. If anybody plans to speak on this matter this evening, would you stand up now and raise your right hand, please?
Anyone with River Rise?
Stand up and raise your right hand, if you would, if you plan to talk. And I'm going to ask each of your names in just a second so our clerk can take down your names. Do you, and state your names, do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Madam Mayor, the applicants have been duly sworn, and so at this point, the city will make any presentation that the city deems necessary.
We have a brief presentation, and then we'll allow the applicant to speak after us, and then we'll do a public hearing. So this is a request for a conditional use permit for River Rise Brewery. Wait. Kevin, it's not working. Okay. There we go, thanks. Okay, so it is located south of Post Springs Road and east of CXX Railroad. It's lot on the plat map. And next one. And this is a site plan. There we go. And then here is the site plan of the actual site. It's 1.03 acres. It has a 2,385 square foot building on it. It will have brewery operations, a tap room, seating and patio area. The tree line to the east, the applicant plans on keeping that and not doing anything to disturb it. The zoning is industrial. The future land use is business industrial. To the east is some residential, and as well as the future land use is mixed. So they are seeking a conditional use permit to allow the use. The site plan, let me go on to the next. I want to show y'all what it'll look like. We're having technical difficulties, I know. Okay, there's the conceptual renderings. And here's some more of the inside. And so this is for the use, to discuss whether you want to allow the brewery at the industrial park. It is not to discuss the site plan. That will be coming forward at another time after they do site plan application and staff has time to review and kick it back and forth. This is just for the use. So if the applicant wants to come speak some more about, more specifics about how you plan to operate and what you plan to do, you can. What am I doing?
Thank you for having us tonight. We're really excited about this project. We're excited to be part of the High Springs business community. We intend to be good corporate citizens. We have a lot planned as far as our outreach to our local community, conservation efforts around the river, partnering with some of those efforts, and really promoting the river as a precious resource that needs to be preserved and have good stewardship. So that's sort of the theme of our business, that if you think about the brewery as really more of a resource center, as alongside of a business. We want to educate. We want people that come here love the river, they love the river culture, and we want to bring them in with the idea of celebrating that culture, but also imparting some knowledge about its history and about its need to be preserved and well taken care of. So, we want to partner with our fellow businesses. We know there's already a brewery here in High Springs. We want to partner with them to help High Springs become more of a destination. We know that breweries do better when they're around other breweries. So if we can, pull that partnership together along with some of the other businesses in town and really help to promote High Springs as a destination, bring in not just tourists from the state, but our local community, reaching out into the Gainesville, Newberry, Archer, those areas as well. So I think you guys got a pretty thorough presentation from us that you've looked through, and if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer them at this time.
Madam Mayor, if anyone wishes to ask any questions of the applicants, this is the time to do that.
Anybody?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I don't have any questions, but your presentation was very nice. You gave us lots of information, and it was all very pleasing to see. Very nice.
Thank you.
Well, it's interesting, I say something. Look at the logo of High Springs, and it says 1892. The first time I came here to High Springs was 1992. And the following year, we bought a house. And we didn't live here full-time until 12 years ago, but we do live here full-time now. But this has been part of our lives for, well, since 92.
Long time.
So we love the city.
Yeah.
We just, we think that this project will highlight High Springs. We really want to highlight High Springs and keep it moving forward. I think it will be a good community gathering spot as well, just like the other brewery is. But High Springs certainly needs more business like this, I think. You're growing, the population is growing at leaps and bounds, and they need places to congregate and have fellowship, and we truly believe in that.
To add that, and it is an appropriate use according to staff for an industrial area.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, if there's no further questions or argument or any of that sort of thing, I'll go ahead and read the resolution if you'd like me to.
Well, let's see if we have any comments out here.
Sure.
Commissioner, you have anything?
I just want a question for Ashley.
there.
You say in the future, that's gonna be a mixed use?
No, to the east of it is
east of it.
residential of the High Springs Industrial Park. It's already there, and it's, and the future land use plan shows it as mixed use, which allows a variety of uses on that property as well. So that's just the future land use plan, but for the current zoning, it's appropriate. North, south, and west all has the industrial designation, and so it's an appropriate use.
Okay, is that all up here? Now let's see what the audience has. All right.
Just talk from here.
No, come on up.
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name's Janice Rands, and I've known Luke and Leslie Lynn for 17 years, so I'm kind of a river recruit. We lived as neighbors in Lake Mary, Florida, which is Seminole County, and 2 years ago, we bought our home down the road from them on the Santa Fe, and we always wanted to come here when we downsized. So 2 years ago, we moved here permanently, and we love High Springs, and Luke and Leslie are the utmost people of integrity. Leslie's a very accomplished businesswoman, and I'm excited for their venture, and I think it will be a great asset to the community.
Thank you. Anyone else from the audience? No one? Do we have anyone on Zoom?
Madam Mayor will remind folks on Zoom if they'd like to speak to please raise your hand, and we can bring you in. I see no hands at this time.
No hand. Okay. All right, now we can have the ordinance.
Yes, ma'am. This is resolution number 2021-0. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of High Springs, Florida, granting with appropriate conditions and safeguards a conditional use permit as authorized by the City of High Springs Land Development Code, providing for a conditional use permit to permit a microbrewery within the industrial IND zoning district as provided within Table 2.02.01 of the Land Development Code on certain lands within the corporate limits of the city of High Springs, Florida, providing for revocation of the conditional use permit, repealing all resolutions in conflict, and providing an effective date. The appropriate motion is to pass resolution number 2021-0 as read by title only.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move that we pass resolution number 2021-0.
Second.
All right, it has been properly moved, resolution 2021-0 be approved. Roll call?
Mayor James?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Jamison?
Yes.
Commissioner Williams?
Yes.
All right, motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Next one is item number 4.
Madam Mayor, this is a final plat on the Springfield 30-lot rural subdivision. And I believe our manager is bringing up the map for you in her presentation and recommendation.
Okay, so this is the Springfield final plat. It's located south of Post Springs Road in West subdivision. It's on 50.15 acres. There are approximately 30 lots, 1 acre in size. It's on city water, but has septic. It's zoned R1, and it meets all the requirements and regulations of the city. It's been reviewed by staff and the city engineers, and we've got it to a place that it's in good condition. Staff recommends approval.
Okay, thank you. Discussion, commissioners?
Yeah, I got a question.
Okay.
I understand it's not sewer, so we don't have to worry about it, but from a water standpoint, just talk to me about capacity on water. I know we're getting the well, but
We're fine with the capacity for the water. This project is actually going to tie in loops and hills around, so it'll improve some water quality around there as well. We do have 2 dead-end lines. One of them they're going to tie into, so it'll help circulate it, much like we're doing on the north end. That's it. We've already got approval for that. We did the joint application with Plat County already because we have to run it through county right away. All that's been approved at the county meeting, county level. CHW has everything to start moving forward. They put the 1,100 linear feet of pipe in the ground. So,
but capacity-wise, I know this has been
capacity-wise,
issues.
we're good.
We're okay on
Yes.
this one here, because I know we're asking that with all developments on the deal, so,
yes, we are within our capacity on this.
okay, I just want to make sure.
Any other questions from the commissioners? No? Anybody from the audience?
Madam Mayor, Mitchell Mason from CHW has raised his hand on Zoom. We can bring him in, if you'd like. Mr. Mason, you're on with the commission.
Good afternoon. Just wanted to thank staff for their presentation and also make myself available for questions if anybody has.
No?
Everybody seems to be clear.
Well, this was here, when was it initially? Back in, a while ago. So
Before I got
The plan
here.
was done last year at this time.
right, I was going to say, so this has been there,
It was a
so
while.
it's not something brand new.
Correct. This was
Right.
pre or current city manager.
Right.
Mr. DeCoursey was city manager. We presented this back probably September
I was going to say September, I thought.
September of last year. We did a preliminary plat, but then there was some issues with the county right away and get this water
Right.
line, and we just had to work through that process.
Okay, I just want to say, this isn't something that just occurred, it's
Right.
been there.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been on the books for a while.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, if we're all clear, time for a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion, we approve the final plat and construction documents for the Springfield development.
Second?
All right, it has been properly moved and second that the plat for Springfield be approved. All those in favor respond with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries 4-0. Okay, next one is item number 5. Discuss, consider, and act on awarding a construction loan for a well number 3. Assistant City Manager.
So this is the infamous third well project we've been working on for quite some time. Bid documents come back. We've already got a contractor. We got everything laid out. We were waiting on the financial bids to come back. They came back on October 19th. After meeting with the financial advisors, we feel that Truist, which is in the packet that you have here, is the clear winner with the interest rate. We're recommending the 12-year note on that. First payment, there is a penalty for early payment on it, which we don't foresee that happening. We've asked for an additional 20% over what the bid came in at, just figuring we're going to have some overages and construction costs and unforeseen circumstances come in, and it allows us to update our SCADA or data flow software out there to where we can operate it remotely as well. So, any questions?
Sound like we're in good shape on it. Am I right?
Mr. James got a question.
We're just on the deal. So we have a current bond now on the sewer now.
Correct,
that
on the
we're
sewer.
doing. So this is separate.
This is for water. Yes.
Okay, that was like a 30-year or something on the current one. So, so it says water and sewer bonds. So we're talking just one bond for the two of them?
No, this is just one bond for water. It's
Just
just
for the
public
water?
utility bond.
Okay,
Correct.
okay. Another thing I'd like to say on this one, for the folks that don't know, that we talked about this about a year ago, and the costs that were coming in about a year ago was $237,000, $240,000. So if we want to know how inflation has hit on construction material, this is now about 3 times as much. That's how much things have hit. But it's sorely needed. We've got to have it, and so I'm proud to see that, I'm glad to see that we pulled this together, city manager and Bruce, to get this done, because we need an additional well just for backup to make sure everything's good. So I'm glad to see this finally being processed, and I look forward to seeing it completed. Thank you.
Anyone else? Did we do audience comments? No one? No. Okay.
I move that we award the construction loan for well number 3.
Second?
Second. All right, it's been properly moved and second that the award of construction loan for well number 3 be approved. All those in favor respond with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries 4-0. All right, item number 6.
Madam Mayor, the next 2 items relate to the canoe outpost. The first item is what we call in the law a piggyback agreement, and this is with Anderson's Outdoor Adventures. If you fold back a couple of pages after the agreement, you'll see Exhibit A, and Exhibit A is the actual agreement that we're piggybacking on, and that's between Lafayette County and Anderson's for the operation of Post Springs. So, Post Springs Park. And your manager has researched this and has vetted it and determined that Anderson is doing a very admirable job with respect to the operation of that park. And in fact, they are now on their extension. So they did well out of the box in the first year, and they are on extension already. So that means that it's being operated in a very good fashion. There's some advantages to this particular agreement that your manager is presenting to you, in the sense that they have the equipment, they have the personnel to operate, they have the know-how, they're experienced in this arena, and with all of that, it provides some level of safety for us as well. In other words, if they're using their vans and they own the vans, they have primary liability. We had some discussion about this last week, and if there's an accident, you can be assured everybody's going to get sued. That's just the way life is right now. And that's how we are. As Commissioner Jamison said, we're going to make sure that we're the additional insured on insurance policies. This policy is a $500,000 policy under the county's purview. And so they have step one insurance. Our insurance then kicks in under step two if for whatever reason they were able to exceed the $500,000 policy. But as you know, the city of High Springs has the ability to interpose sovereign immunity. So we have $200,000, $300,000 protection in the event there is a lawsuit, an unfortunate circumstance such that there is a lawsuit. So we're protected on that basis. This allows us to do two things. One, it allows an operator to come in and seamlessly manage the facility. And then secondarily, it gives us an opportunity to look at them and how they operate the facility and see what kind of long-term basis this may delve into. So that's what this agreement does. In the interim, we will have an RFP out there. The RFP has been drafted, sent, approved, and it's heading out for advertisement right now. So that's where we're at with the RFP. And this is an interim agreement that allows for the management of the canoe outpost in the interim. The appropriate motion at the appropriate time will be to authorize the appropriate city officials to enter into the agreement utilizing Alachua County RFP bid number 19-227 between the City of High Springs and Anderson Outdoor Adventures.
All right, do we have any comments, questions up here? No?
I would just like to mention that the way this has been set up is very flexible. So they provide us what we need, but what we don't need, we're not paying for. So I just want y'all to know that. And they also provide some management oversight, assistance with scheduling. There will always be a van there and a driver for it. And if we need, they will be helping to monitor the reservations. And so as the reservations come in, if we need more, then we have the ability to get a second and third van, but we're not dedicated to having it on a daily basis. So we're not paying for what we don't need.
That's a good thing.
If I could ask the city manager, to what extent, personnel-wise on ours, are we obligated to have somebody there? Because obviously our person has to open up and close. I don't think we're going to give them the keys, I don't think.
Right.
So I'm just curious as to, like on weekends and so forth, we still have to have one of our employees there to open and so forth, right?
Right, so we're accepting applications currently from current employees of the outpost. And so we will always have someone there while they're open to handle people coming and going and to take reservations. We also have the ability to allow them to be hired through Anderson's, so they are there too. But Anderson's is going to manage that and make sure that there's always someone there. Did that answer your question?
Well, yeah, I'm assuming that the two gentlemen in the back are going to have a heavy hand in this one here, because I would just feel more confident that you have somebody there as opposed to a newly hired employee overseeing the business of a third party.
Brian will always be there.
Right, well, I knew that.
And
I
then-
just was giving him the benefit
Okay.
of the doubt.
As the liaison.
I was trying to be polite, Brian. I'm breaking my whole course here. I was trying to be
Okay.
nice to you. No, I think, and for
Yes.
what it's worth, I have supreme confidence. The way it was presented.
Right.
I wanted to make darn sure that we had somebody of, I'm not going to go
Complete
there.
joint effort, yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, you're absolutely right. It's a complete joint effort between, with the staff that we currently have right now, with the applicants from the outpost and the third party, Anderson. So yeah, I'm going to massage it out. Things will work its way like always. That's the way sometimes recreation works, but it's going to work out. and of course with the consultant of Jim Wood. He's always a phone call away, so yes.
Is that it?
I have no questions.
No questions, no comments?
I will move that we approve the agreement between the city and Anderson Outdoor Adventures.
Second?
All right, it has been properly motioned and second that the agreement be approved for the outpost. All those in favor respond with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you, gentlemen.
Madam Mayor, if I could just make a parting comment.
Yes.
Let me say something like this. This is a major, I mean, for people who don't know, this is $600,000 we're taking over the Canoe Outpost. I've been a staunch thing that government does not do well running businesses. It's private. But I'll be honest with you, and I don't say this whatever, with the two gentlemen back there, the assistant city manager, I got complete confidence that this is going to be a successful venture because I know them, and it will be run. It won't be your standard government. Pardon the deal, but my dad was in private business for 43 years, and there's certain, sit down, Brian. Okay, I'm done. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. All right. Number 7, which is the last one we had. That's the one we added. And I don't know what I did with my sheet.
Madam Mayor, this is concerning the Santa Fe Canoe Outpost conservation easement. Mr. Martin was here last week to speak to you about this at your last meeting. This is essentially the same baseline document report that you received last time. There are a few minor changes to it. I was assured by Mr. Martin that the only changes that were made to it were beneficial to the city. So the Alachua Conservation Trust has worked very closely with Mr. Martin in creating this easement, which we'll be closing on next week. And the easement allows the city to have the boardwalk that they wanted at the Canoe Outpost, and obviously to maintain and create structures as needed at the Canoe Outpost in a way that both conserves the environment and allows for the Canoe Outpost to operate in a way that is functional. So if there are any further questions about that, I'm willing to take them.
This is just the formal document that the gentleman basically presented to us, and now this is the document on it.
Yes, this is the formal document, and then
Right.
the resolution in front of you is the resolution to adopt this document, and it's needed to go forward with the closing next week.
Do we have a number for it, Jenny? No, okay.
That was our fault, yes, we were a little late with this one.
Do we need a number to approve it?
She can put the number on. Right.
Oh, okay, great.
But Kirsten, why don't you go ahead and read the title of the resolution for us?
So this is a resolution to be numbered. A resolution of the City of High Springs, Florida, adopting that certain baseline documentation report performed by Alachua Conservation Trust, Incorporated, of the property commonly known as the Canoe Outpost property, approving the donation of a conservation easement on and over such property to Alachua Conservation Trust, Incorporated, in the form of that certain conservation easement attached to said baseline documentation report, authorizing the mayor and vice mayor to execute said easement and related documents to accomplish such adoption and donation, repealing all prior resolutions in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Okay, commissioners?
So I'll make a resolution, we pass 2021 dash whatever,
To be determined.
to be determined.
TBD.
Second.
Just one question. You say authorizing the mayor and vice mayor to sign, but I just see just the mayor. There should
As
be-
needed, in case the mayor wasn't here tonight, or
Okay, see, when you say and.
just in case.
Huh?
Right, yes.
Yeah, all right. Not but and.
No, that's a good catch.
Huh?
It is needed.
Well, from the teaching I got in my writing class, and me,
Meeting more than one.
You're absolutely right.
Wouldn't hurt to say and/or. It wouldn't hurt to say and/or. I would agree.
Yeah.
Wouldn't hurt.
I'll pass the critique on to Mr.
There you go.
All right, do we have any comments from anybody else?
Madam Mayor, Mr. Kay from Alachua County Trust is available if you have any questions via Zoom.
All right, do we have any questions for Mr. Kay?
Just a comment, Mr. Mayor.
All right.
Madam Mayor. I'd like to compliment our colleague in the law, Tom Kay. Clay Martin has done the majority of the work with Mr. Kay, but he tells me that this has been a thoroughly pleasurable, they've worked well together.
Good,
And
good.
we see this as a great partnership for the city and the trust for the future. It's off to a good start, and it should continue that way.
That's what we like. All right. Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Jameson,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Mayor James.
Yes. All right, resolution approved 4-0. All right, that's our last item on the agenda before our report, starting with the city attorney.
Madam Mayor, we don't have anything unless you have something, Kirsten. November 18th is our ethics training seminar at the office, but we will be here instead. I will be here. Kirsten will be at the office making her presentation, but that's all we had. And we will be filming it, so if anybody needs their 4 hours, it'll be available to you.
I will.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
thank
all.
you. All right, city manager.
I have a very important announcement. I would like to introduce and welcome Yolanda Strong to the City of High Springs team. If you want to stand up, Yolanda. She is our new finance director. She comes to us with over 20 years' experience, having worked at the University of Florida and Alachua County. She holds a Master of Business Administration in Accounting and a bachelor's degree in Human Resource Management and another one in Economics. So we think she's a great addition to our staff, and we're very happy to have her. And I think everyone downstairs seems to be very happy as well. So we're do anything we can to keep her. We're so happy she's here.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome. We're glad to have you. I talked to her earlier today to welcome her aboard too.
I think I've already loaded her up quite a bit.
I can imagine.
All right, the assistant city manager.
So some other good news, have received some of the ARPA funding. American Recovery money, we have received half of the funding on that. So a little bit of homework for the commission. We'd like some of the projects or some of the ideas you would like to see this money go towards by the 15th, so we can have a discussion on the meeting on the 18th and try to align some of our thoughts and start gearing up for how we would like to use this money within the city.
Used for.
It can be used for infrastructure projects, water, sewer, cannot be used for roads. It can be used for premium pay for employees that work during the event, during the pandemic. So we could give a bonus to police, fire if we wanted to towards public works. That's some of the areas. We could use funding for some areas in the police department, some areas in the fire department. For instance, like we could use, we're trying to still get some clarification because there's not like a rule book for dummies for ARPA funding. We're having to go through and decipher through all the documentation, but like one area we could use it for is cardiac monitors that we've been looking to purchase at the fire department. There's some language out there that we could possibly use it for body cameras within the police department. And we're reviewing all this now. There's some ADA things it could be used for. We could use it to buy a new elevator for City Hall. It looks like that would be an appropriate use. We could update the video equipment in here and make to where we have closed captioning or additional closed captioning, some different ideas there. So those are some of the options we can do. Broadband is another area we could do as well. In 3,092,000, and I don't remember it down to the 100th, but that's
It's gonna go quick.
That's over 3 million. That's good.
yes, ma'am.
Was
We've
this
gotten just over 1.5.
was this the agency that, the Newberry opioid that we designated $10,000?
Funding out of, yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
At that point in time, we knew we were getting funding, we just weren't sure when it was coming in. We got the first batch in last week.
Would like, I can send out the strategic planning workshop results to you. Because, so y'all remember kind of what you discussed and see if there's anything in there that rings a bell that you'd like to direct us to consider.
Okay.
And we have until 2024 to spend the money, so we're not on a real short time window, but we do have time. But we do have some, we have to have in by the first of the year, and then some additional reporting right after the first of the year. So that's why we're kind of shortening the window a little bit to do what you would like, and we can come back and have a further discussion at the November 18th meeting.
Very good.
AMI is out to bid currently, closes on December 1st. That will be coming to the commission here shortly. So that's a project that's been long anticipated as well. And there's some housekeeping items, and Ms. Parham can help me with this one. There's a resolution that we did for COVID that was back in April, I believe it was, May, somewhere in there, which allowed us to do Zoom meetings, which allowed us to do various different things during the pandemic. But for anything for us to change that or to even get rid of that resolution, we have to do another resolution. So at this point, kind of see what the commission's flavor is. Do we want to continue with the Zoom meetings? Do we want to look at doing away with the Zoom meetings and just having the YouTube meetings? Do we want to look at least doing a resolution to at least sunset that ordinance and come up with something different, or that resolution, excuse me, and have something different in place so we can move forward?
Does it cost a lot to have the Zoom in place?
I don't think it doesn't cost a lot to have the Zoom in place. We think some of the, I'll let Kevin go into it, but we think some of the technical difficulties we're having is we're trying to stream across too many platforms. So we've got Facebook, we've got YouTube, we're also trying to do Zoom, we're trying to have people come in. There's some questions on the attorneys with quasi-judicial hearings if people can actually talk via Zoom. But what's the sunset on that? What's state statutes say versus what a resolution says? And it's just that the housekeeping thing we need to look at some point. I mean, it's just an open-ended resolution the way it was adopted, because at one point we had an active EOC for like 375 days.
But on YouTube, is there an option that people are allowed to speak as they do Zoom now?
Well, and that's the thing is, no, there's not. But are we going to allow people to continue to speak via Zoom? Are we going to allow people to speak via there? That option is not. Up until the pandemic, that option wasn't available. You had to come in person to the meeting.
Right.
Some municipalities are doing away with it. Some aren't. Some are. And that's why we're asking, is it something we just want to leave alone for right now? Or is it something we want to look at and maybe discuss even further in another meeting? It's just housekeeping at this point. I'm not saying we're going to do away with Zoom tomorrow, but we're running across a lot of different platforms, so we're trying to clean some things up.
Okay. So we'll discuss this later then.
Yeah, just trying to get some direction from y'all,
Okay.
what you would like to see happen. Would you like us to put it on the agenda and have an open discussion next meeting and just kind of mill through it and let's look at the resolution? Or you just kind of want to leave it alone for right now and we can discuss it after the holidays or whatever?
And just to let you know, some of the technical difficulties we had at the last meeting are kind of like what started tipping this discussion. As Bruce said, streaming across all the different platforms is something that can impact some of the issues, like with the hearing, what was heard and what wasn't heard. There's a number of things that can do it, and that was one of the things that was brought up.
You know, like for instance, last meeting, the Facebook feed stopped audio, but the YouTube side was fine. So the meeting in its entirety was heard, if I'm not mistaken, Kevin was on the YouTube side. It's like Kevin, we're in headsets tonight because we're trying to figure this out, but we do have a lot of platforms we're trying to stream this across,
So some of the audio issues that we've had, Madam Mayor, a couple weeks ago was from Zoom. Zoom has an artificial intelligence inside it that automatically suppresses background noise. So when it's presented with what it believes is background noise was actually feedback from the wireless mic, it suppressed that, thinking that it was noise from other parts of the room.
Okay.
So since then, we've rearranged the audio as best we can, waiting until the new technology that the commission agreed to invest in for this fiscal year to come in. As a result, we're actually streaming two different things right now. So I have Zoom on the computer to my right that is strictly going to Zoom, and then we have an alternate feed that is going to YouTube and Facebook. So we're doing double the managing on this side right now to keep both things up.
Okay.
I mean, it's just something to think about, and if y'all have some feedback, if y'all can email me separately and not copy each other, please.
Right.
And I'll make sure that Kevin and Bruce and Eric as well, because he'll be included in these discussions, get the information.
Could this possibly be remedied also by the new equipment that you're considering? I mean,
That's the general idea. I'm never going to say that it's a guarantee when you're dealing with technology, especially something that we don't 100% own and control.
Right.
You know, so, I mean, the AI within Zoom is usually pretty good. So I'd say that it's a decent chance that the new technology will eliminate some of those variables, but I don't also want to sit here and make false promises to you either.
what would you prefer?
Well, there's also, which we were just talking, like the ARPA funding. There is some things with ADA compliance with this stuff and some look at even enhancing further if this is the direction that the commission wants to go. But eventually we're gonna outgrow our space the more we try to get this out here too, because we're already running two computers over here. We've got somebody over here doing minutes. I'm normally doing something as well. So it gets a little cumbersome for staff as well.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying we need to do away with it, but we also have a resolution in place that says we're gonna do this too. So if we wanted to stop it tomorrow, we'd have to go through this whole resolution and everything else. That's part of what I was talking about, cleaning it up. So I don't think staff really has any preference. It's kind of what your flavor is of the commission.
Well, no, it's not necessarily my flavor, but what, if Kevin had a preference, would he prefer to keep YouTube or Zoom?
I like to eliminate the possibility for technical issues.
That doesn't answer the question.
But, you know, it's entirely up to the commission. I can see the pros and cons of Zoom, I think, as anyone can. I think the benefit that we have is that we're streaming to two other platforms right now that are almost always consistent. And, you know, the city being the size that it is and the central location of City Hall, it's not difficult for people to come down generally if they would like to. And, you know, we're exploring some other technologies that would allow us to take public comment that we hope to roll out later on in the fiscal year. So if the commission decided to maybe just put a sunset on Zoom and give staff time to figure out what that further technology would be, then that was certainly an option.
I don't know the technology at all, and that's why I would rely upon you to give me what you think would be best. I mean, think about it. You don't have to do it right now, but if, that's who I'd rely upon.
Yeah.
Is your opinion.
Yeah, we have some demos scheduled and some things coming up with different technologies and things like that. I think it would be better equipped to have a different report.
Okay.
It's just, the resolution being never ending at this point, it's just something I felt like we needed to clean up, because there's some other COVID things in there. I'm not saying do away with the platform, I'm not saying do away with Zoom, it's just, we know there's some issues with the way we're doing it as well, it's just, that's gonna need to be cleaned up at some point.
That's fine.
It's not a rushing issue. I'm thinking maybe after the first year, after have a new commissioner come on, because she'll be involved. I think after the first of the year, and then we'll pull it
It's
out.
not an issue we're rushing, it was just, we found it, we were looking at some stuff, we were exploring, you know, the complaints on the audio feeding out and some different things, and we're just doing our diligence and running through, we wanted to get the wheels started turning, with all this, so
Yeah.
just whenever you want to put it on an agenda, we can get it on there, and we can have this discussion in depth and look at doing something more.
Yeah.
So, just some ideas.
All
I
right.
have one last thing, and I need Damon to come on down for this. He would like to say something, so I'm gonna let him
Okay.
say one thing under my comments, and then it'll be all y'all.
All right.
Madam Mayor, we've so far, there have already been 2 commissioners who have received this award, and we'd like to present this to another commissioner, whom I remember working with him from the very beginning when I was here several years back, and he continued to push forward here with the city of High Springs. And I noticed just over the years, it's just been so pro-recreation and parks, and it continues to do that. And I think that's very vital in our community, just in any community in general. And yeah, we just, this gentleman here, people don't realize, he's a sports management guy. He's dealt with parks and recreation for many, many years. And he's a St. Pete native as well. And that's from where I'm from. Umpire for many, many, many years. And coaching his grandkids. Very much involved with the Babe Ruth League, and we hope he continues to continue on that as far as with the volunteers, which we know he will. And so we'd like to dedicate this award. It's the Lifetime Award for Dedication and Leadership in Recreation for the communities in North Central Florida, and we'd like to present this to Commissioner Scott Jameson. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's somewhat a surprise, I guess. I don't.
That's good. Now give us your comments.
Want to know about the water line hookup between River Run and River Glen, the progress on that. That's been out there for quite a while, connecting those 2 water lines. Do we have an update on what those are?
We're waiting on one easement. There was a piece of property that the tenants in that place, it was a rental, so we had to get a hold of the owner. Just to make, I don't know if we were clear in the beginning on this project, that project's actually connecting 441 all the way
Right.
to 27. So it's gonna connect both of those. So there was one piece of property we needed to get into. We should have all that resolved by the end of the week and we'll be ready to start moving.
Okay.
It should be going out to bid, I would say, by the middle of December, once they get all the easements back and everything else, so be moving forward. Get it back middle of January into January, so probably the middle of the year should be complete.
Okay.
Next year.
I mean, we've been trying for about probably 3 or 4 years, so another 6 months.
But we got the funding secured, so
Right.
that was the biggest.
That was,
hurdle.
and getting the easement.
Yep, so we got one easement left that we need to secure,
Okay.
and we should be good to go.
Okay. Let me just say real quick, Madam on this one here. I
Go
had
right
no
ahead.
idea. No, I had no idea. I'm sort of overwhelmed on it. Sports has been predominantly the major factor in my life. My degree's in Parks and Recreation. I was a Parks and Recreation Director. I umpired professional baseball, as he said, for several years. So sports has always been there. So I greatly appreciate it. This is a great town. We're making tremendous strides on the recreation part of it to these gentlemen here. So I thank you very much. Unexpected, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for what you do.
Congratulations on your award. Now, you're part
Yes.
of the Hall of Fame for
Flag football in the
Flag
state of
football.
Florida.
State of Florida, Hall of Famer.
Yes.
All right.
Congratulations. And I want to say welcome to Yolanda. Welcome aboard. Look forward to working with you.
That's it. Vice Mayor?
Welcome, Yolanda. I'll get down to meet you next time at City Hall, but I know staff's excited to have you on board. I don't think I had anything else.
That's it? All right. Well, I would like to say to you, thank you so much for filling in for me at the League of Mayors meeting the other night. I understand, and several people have commented and said you had a very good report, so I thank you.
Well, thank you, but she gave me the information.
I know. I know, because she did the same for me for my meeting last night. So
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And it was a very good meeting last night, too. I'm glad I went to that. It went great. And
Did you learn anything new?
yes, there are some things coming down the pike that I think we're all going to be happy with getting done. One of the things they asked me about specifically was, did we get any money given to us or returned to us because of the situation that had to do with broadband? I know you mentioned broadband a few minutes ago, and I didn't know the answer to that question. I think Alachua said they had gotten theirs, and so did Newberry, but I didn't know.
Remember Newberry guy was here and he was talking about how they get so much from the broadband on the phones and so forth, or whatever
The
it is.
attorney's working on something with GRU on franchise fees, is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
We did research that and asked the GRU city attorney with Gainesville, and they indicated that there is reports that come back and verify what it is that they pay us as a result of the franchise fee.
Just remember Ross was saying that
Mm-hmm.
when he does on his cell phone and so forth, like
Right.
there's a fee type of thing. I think that's what she's referring to, I think.
Yeah, and that's what, so I'll have to pull and see what we get franchise fees for and see if it correlates. But I know we get franchise fees reports. I think what Commissioner Ambrose was getting after was that he doesn't, what he pays in Newberry for his stuff with his business is way off kilter to what he pays.
Yes.
Right.
And he knows GRU's providing services in other areas. And
Right.
wanted to make sure the correlations were correct, but I'll have to pull the reports and see where it's at.
And we'll talk to other city managers as well to see like exactly what they were talking about the meeting, since I wasn't there, and make sure it's the same thing.
If
Okay.
I'll pass it on to the finance director on Monday to start digging into this.
Yeah. I don't know, shit is busy for probably at least 3 months already.
Now, I'll dig into it and get back.
Okay, that sounds good.
So you gotta, let me just say this one here, so you got a new finance director and you're gonna lay $3-point-something million in her hand and she just got here. That's a heck of a bonus.
No, sir, it's under my name.
No, it's gonna have to go through.
Yeah.
Man, you and I need to talk.
Yeah. Also, we know that the wild spaces will expire in 2024, and they want to see what they can do about getting a resolution put on the ballot for this year to see if they can possibly get an extension on that. It's gonna take some work, they say, for them to do it, but that's what they would like to do, have that done. And to those of you that did that presentation for CRA, last night, the chairman, Commissioner Cornell, told the other 4 mayors, if you guys are gonna outdo High Springs and putting together your CRA, you really gotta get up and go. So you got another accolade last night. You did a very good job, and they're still talking about how well you did with that. So that went very well. And the last thing I was gonna do, I don't now have to do, because the young lady called by herself, and that was Miss Andrews. I was going to talk to you about that, but she took care of that, even though I did come in early and Bruce and I had already talked about it. But she spoke up for herself. So with that, I don't have anything further.
Madam Mayor,
Yes,
can I make an announcement?
yes, Bruce.
Well, I'm late.
Fix that.
Madam Mayor, name's Bruce Ford, Standing United African Americans, 21535 South Fifth 41. And anyway, On November the 11th, from 11 o'clock to 7 o'clock, we're planning on there. Money's coming short though, but anyway, God will look after us. We're gonna feed the veterans a steak dinner with everything, you know, like the drinks and whatever you drink and all that. And also, we're gonna have SOS with it. I won't say what that is, but anybody that was in the military knows. And I'm proud of my group because we got people right here in High Springs that's big on our board of directors, that American-wide, is right here in High Springs. He's Fire Chief Bruce Gillingham, and he's over the whole fire and rescue for the whole fire rescue as the board of directors. And but I've been trying to get the word out to everybody. And this is November the 11th down at Gallup and Gary's, downtown on Lotchway, from 11 o'clock to about 7 o'clock. So it doesn't matter if you're a veteran and you're 105, or if you're in law enforcement or the fire and rescue and you work one day, everybody is invited, you know, retired or whatever, you know. So y'all come out and support our veterans, because if it wasn't for our fire and rescue, law enforcement, and military, and especially one thing with all capital letters, G-O-D, America would go under. So thank y'all for all what y'all do for the community, and I'm gonna miss that man over there. Anytime I got in a bind or something, I needed something, I didn't care if he was at work. I'd show up, you know. He'd always pull me through, you know. So we're blessed with people, and one more person there. Right back there with the sunshades on his head. We're honored to have him over our recreation. He took Lotchaway football team to state 3 times. And twice we won it, and then the 3rd time we lost by 1 point. But I think we're doing a good job, and I'm proud to say I live in the High Springs area. And y'all probably did it. What y'all gonna do about the 2,000 houses coming in here? Okay. Well, have a good one. God bless y'all. And y'all come on out, you know.
For Halloween as a city?
Like a proclamation or?
No, activity-wise. I was asked that question.
6 to 8, Sunday night.
6 to 8 Sunday night downtown?
Well, all the neighborhoods, I think.
Okay. A citywide thing, 6 to 9. Oh, okay. All right, that's it.
Chief Shepherd will have extra people on, just like.
They always do.
I like their costume.
So you like Bruce's costume that he got on?
He's early, man. I moved to adjourn.
All right, now you can do that motion.
He's
He's too busy.
He's too busy.
Okay.